Greetings and salutations, YouTube. I'll be making a content change when it comes to, the content of my channel. Whether this is a permanent thing or this is just temporary so that I can get my creative juices going again so that I can go back into making classic analysis videos. I do have another JoJo video in mind. But before doing that, I thought I'd make this video as a sort of starting point for any of you fans out there of mine who might feel like sticking around for any other JoJo related videos that I might make in the future. In this video, we'll be going over what stands are, how they function, and the different types that there are. So, with that out of the way, and also mentioning the possibility of there being spoilers for JoJo in general, let's start off with what the heck stands even are. Stands are basically entities or things shaped by a person's fighting spirit and mental energy. They're sort of like personas in the way that they reflect what kind of person that their user is. This can also be shown in the abilities of the stand, like Dio Brando's The World and its ability to freeze time, granting the vampire dominion over all within it. Or like Josuke Higashikata's Crazy Diamond, which has the ability to restore people and objects, but not himself, showing just how kind and selfless that he is. Now on to the second part, how stands function. I'm going to be going over 5 rules for stands. There may be more that I might mention later, but for now, here's 5 basic rules, more or less. A user can only have one stand at a time. However, there are exceptions for this, like Kiriyoshi Kage's Killer Queen and its second and third bombs. I'd also mention Emporio from Part 6 and Weather Report, but that's a whole confusing thing, so I might go over that later with extra explaining. Number 2, non-users cannot see stands unless they are a type of stand called a bound type. Or unless they're like Limp Bizkit, which basically has the power to create invisible zombies. I'll be going over the different types of stands later. Also, stands are named after music references like bands and albums and songs. I'll probably go over that in a separate video, like how to make your own fan stand. I don't know. Number 3, only a stand can harm another stand. Except for this one time in Part 6 where dueling Cujo, and Part 8 with Gappy, where they kicked an enemy stand with their legs, like their actual legs, not their legs with their stand's legs formed over them. Like they just straight up kicked an enemy stand in the face and inflicted damage. So that doesn't make any sense, and it still kind of bothers me, even if it was like a 2-time thing, like a mistake Rocky made. Still kind of bothers me, but whatever. Now then, on to rule number 4. Any damage inflicted upon the stand is reflected back at the user unless that stand is A, an automatic type, or B, a colony type. Again, I'll be going over the different types of stands later. And finally, for rule number 5 for this section of the video, if the user dies, then the stand and its effects die as well. Except for Notorious B.I.G., that stand is kind of an extremely special case. Now onto the final section of this video. I'll be going over the different types of stands. The first type are the short-range power type stands that obviously focus on power and stuff like that, but make up for it with a short manifestation range, meaning they can only appear away from their user. However, from a rather short range. However, that stand's abilities may have a deceptively long range, like Green Day from Part 5's Killer Mold, and Planet Waves from Part 6's ability to summon meteorites. Let's see, there's long-range types, or remote control type stands, that obviously focus on long range but have lower physical power. They're able to manifest much farther away from their users, however, their abilities themselves might have a deceptively short range. Automatic types are stands that follow simple commands and will mercilessly hunt their targets upon activation. Limp Biscuit, as I mentioned before, falls within this category, which has the ability to basically create invisible wraiths/zombies from dead things, whether that's dead bodies or dead animals used for taxidermy, or even the user himself. Bound types are basically stands that are able to manifest from things that allow non-users to see them, like Rubber Soul's Yellow Temperance, which is basically a thing made of yellow slime, Wheel of Fate, or Wheel of Fortune, which is basically a souped-up muscle car which gets more powerful the more confident its user becomes, or Iggy's the Fool, which is basically a stand made out of sand. Let's see, colony-type stands are basically tinier little stands that are a reflection of the user's fractured soul and the hole that they have at the core of their being. Now that I think about it, that actually sounds like an interesting concept for a video I might do later in the future. Basically, to do any amount of damage, like I mentioned before, if you damage a stand user, the damage is, if you damage a stand, that damage is reflected back at the user. However, with colony-type stands, you have to destroy a number of them before you can do any damage to them. Also, I should have mentioned this before, with automatic type stands, the damage isn't reflected back at the user at all, except for, again, extremely special cases. Let's see now, for colony stands, back to colony stands, though. For example, if there's a smaller number of colony stand critters that make up the stand, for example, like Mista's Sex Pistol, then damaging the user himself or themselves becomes much easier to do. There's share type stands, which, going by the name, is a type of stand that's shared by 3 or more people, like the Boom Boom family and their stand, the Tomb of Boom. This type of stand is rather rare and has only been seen in Part 7 so far. And finally, for the final example, there's evolve stands, which are, again, going by the name, stands that evolve from what they currently are, either through natural maturing, like Koichi's Echoes and Johnny's Tusk, or through unnatural, unconventional means, like Poochie's Whitesnake. There are a few more examples for stands, but I feel like this video is rather long already, so I might go over them later, and if you guys are curious, I don't know. Maybe I'll do a separate video for each of them if you guys are curious about that, if there's any interest towards that sort of thing. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video as a sort of decent starting point for anything JoJo related. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and share it. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe and hit the bell notification. I hope you guys, dudes and dudettes and whatever, I hope you have a great night or a great day, and I bid you adieu. Bye!